Welcome viewers. During an appearance on MSNBC's The Katie Phang Show, former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuade suggested that a judge's decision on Friday to not hold Donald Trump and his lawyers in contempt of court could compel the Department of Justice to seek another search warrant for the former president's properties. In this video we will break it all down for you. But before we continue, please take a minute of your precious time to hit the subscribe button below and turn on the notification bell to get the latest update from us. Late Friday, a federal judge in Washington declined to hold former President Donald Trump or his legal team in contempt of court, ABC reported, before adding, the judge instead urged the Justice Department and Trump's legal team to resolve the dispute themselves, the sources said. With that in mind, McQuade stated the judge has grown increasingly frustrated with the former president and his legal team since they can't get anyone to sign off on a declaration affirming that all government documents have been turned over to the FBI. According to McQuade, the failure to get a contempt of court ruling could lead the judge to ask for a search warrant to check for themselves. Why not make Donald Trump himself sign a piece of paper saying they have been returned? Host Phang prompted. I don't know that you can ever say they've all been returned because there is the possibility that some scrap of paper went undetected, McQuade replied. You can ask what is frequently attested to in one of these record custodian documents, which is to say that after a diligent search, to the best of my knowledge, they have all been returned. I think that's all they are asking for here, they will not even sign that, she continued. What does that say? Yes, I think the judge could force someone to do that, but I think that the failure to do that could be a bit of evidence that prosecutors could use as probable cause to obtain a search warrant. I think that contempt order is a really important next step because the refusal to do it could be a piece of evidence which could go into a search warrant affidavit to give the government the authority to go in and actually just search these places themselves, she added. Most of the high-profile candidates he endorsed, principally election deniers, lost. He has further damaged his brand by publicly calling for the Constitution to be terminated and the election rerun. He later asserted that the press made that claim up, but it was in writing on his Truth Social site. His response was typical. Well, I think if they win, I should get all the credit, he said. And if they lose, I should not be blamed at all. Okay, CNBC, one more Democratic senator will make majority leader. Chuck Schumer's life a lot easier, giving Democrats the chairmanship of the Senate committees and subpoena power and facilitating the confirmation process. The losers included Trump's hand-picked Senate candidate in Pennsylvania, Dr. Mehmet Oz. In Michigan, it included Trump's gubernatorial candidate, Tudor Dixon, and her Secretary of State candidate, Kristina Karama, as Democrats, led by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, ran the table. Trump's candidates in Arizona, Kari Lake for governor and Blake Masters for the Senate, lost to Katie Hobbs and Mark Kelly respectively. Lake is following the Trump playbook of claiming a rigged election. Among the most dangerous of his candidates was Doug Mastriano in Pennsylvania, who traveled to Washington, D.C. for the January 6 insurrection and virtually promised to fix the next election by appointing a Secretary of State who would follow his instructions. He lost the governor's race to former Attorney General Josh Shapiro. Don Bolduc lost to Senator Maggie Hassan in New Hampshire. He repeated the crackpot story that kids were being told they could identify as anthropomorphic cats and use litter boxes in school. Trump cost Republicans the 2 Georgia Senate seats in 2020 when he told his followers not to vote because the election was rigged. Not surprisingly, 2 Democrats were elected to the U.S. Senate. 1, Raphael Warnock, in a special election, fill out the remaining 2 years of retiring Senator Johnny Isakson's term. Please, what is your take on this? And remember to subscribe as well. Thanks for watching.